What is a cult? Newsweek magazine explains that cults are normally groups whose members derive their identity and purpose from a single leader. The leaders of a cult are usually very charismatic. The leader will make use of calculating techniques of persuasion and control to maintain power over the group. We Are Change, under Luke Rudkowski's leadership, has become a cult. We Are Change was started to reveal the truth behind September 11th, and also help the sick and dying first responders by raising money. However, Luke has been stressing the 9/11 health more than the 9/11 truth. Speaking out against the New World Order has become of considerably lesser priority. Why has Luke started pushing for donations rather than a new 9/11 investigation? Aid for first responders and 9/11 truth are two separate and important issues. Nonetheless, petitioning the very government that covered up the truth of the attacks and their aftermath to aid the first responders is counterproductive. First, we must get the criminals out of power. As you might recall from previous videos in this series, Luke was forced to incorporate We Are Change as a for-profit entity when various people started to shine a light on his questionable business practices. Unfortunately, Luke has surrounded himself with some very rabid supporters that will defend him blindly while failing to hold him at all accountable to the group for his mismanagement and misrepresentations. These supporters attack and verbally abuse the person bringing these concerns to light. This type of dynamic is most often found within a cult. Cults will often use disinformation tactics against people who question the leader. We Are Change New York handles anyone who questions Luke in these following ways. 1. Act disbelieving and angry. Avoid discussing key issues and instead focus on side issues which can be used to show the topic as being critical of some otherwise sacred group or theme. This is also known as the "How dare you" gambit. 2. Create rumor mongers. Avoid discussing issues by describing all charges, regardless of venue or evidence, as mere rumors and wild accusations. Other derogatory terms, mutually exclusive of truth, may work as well. 3. They will try to sidetrack opponents with name-calling and ridicule. This is also known as the primary attack the messenger ploy. Though other methods qualify as variants of that approach, associate opponents with unpopular titles such as COINTELPRO, Infiltrator, Fed, Pedophile, Crackhead, Crazy, or Insane. This makes others shrink from support out of fear of gaining the same label, and you avoid dealing with the issues. 4. They try to change the subject. Usually in connection with one of the other ploys listed here, find a way to sidetrack the discussion with abrasive or controversial comments in hopes of turning attention to a new, more manageable topic. This works especially well with companions who can argue with you over the new topic and polarize the discussion arena in order to avoid discussing more key issues. 5. They try to emotionalize, antagonize, and goad opponents. If you can't do anything else, chide and taunt your opponent and draw them into emotional responses, which will tend to make them look foolish and overly motivated, and generally render their material somewhat less coherent. 6. Ignore proof presented. Demand impossible evidence. This is perhaps a variant of the play dumb rule. Regardless of what material may be presented by an opponent in public forums, claim the material irrelevant and demand proof that is impossible for the opponent to come by. It may exist, but not be at his disposal, or it may be somewhat which is known to be safely destroyed or withheld, such as a murder weapon. In order to completely avoid discussing issues, it may require that you categorically deny and be critical of media or books as valid sources, deny that witnesses are acceptable, or even deny that statements made by a government or other authorities have any meaning or relevance. In political groups, there should be a free exchange of ideas and a safe way to address grievances. There is no room in the 9/11 truth movement for doctrines and canonization of a single person. This is a movement to find out the truth of 9/11 by working within the rule of law. Just because someone does good works in the light doesn't mean he is a fit role model. Like it says in the Bible in the book of Matthew chapter 6 verses 1 through 4, take good care not to practice your righteousness in front of men in order to be observed by them. Otherwise you will have no reward with your Father who is in the heaven. Hence, when you go making gifts of mercy, do not blow a trumpet ahead of you, just as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be glorified by men. Truly I say to you, they are having their reward in full. But you, when making gifts of mercy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, that your gifts of mercy may be in secret. Then your Father, who is looking on in secret, will repay you. That means just because someone is doing YouTube videos exposing corruption doesn't mean that they are not corrupt themselves. The person that does things in secret, that is the support role, that does things not for the recognition, but to help advance, that's the role model you should follow. Thank you for watching.